If your dating life is anything like mine, it's not exactly going well, but don't worry, because we're not alone. Plus, even if you end up becoming rich and famous like a celebrity, you pretty much still end up being rejected. Hi, I'm Stacey Taylor, and today I'm counting down the top 10 celebrity relationship rejections that will make you cringe. So which rejections made you cringe? And let us know in the comments below. Coming in at number 10 today, we have Bella Thorne. So the other day, Bella Thorne opened up about her disturbing experiences of being sexualized as a child when auditioning and meeting with powerful male executives in Hollywood. In a recent conversation with Emily Ratajkowski on the High and Low Emirata podcast, the actor spoke candidly about being rejected for a role at the age of 10 because of an unnamed casting director accusing her of flirting with him. Bella would say, "I had a director give me feedback once and I was 10, and the casting director calls my agent, and then the agent calls my mom, and they're like, so she's not moving forward because the director felt like she was flirting with him and it made him really uncomfortable." Like, first off, if you have to say something like this about a 10-year-old, then the real problem is you being sick, because let's face it, it had nothing to do with the child. Like, why anyone would think a 10-year-old would ever want to flirt with you is beyond me. With Emily adding that she felt like that the director was feeling that way was a real issue, Bella would go on to describe the director's session and how there was little to no chance that she would have behaved inappropriately in any way by saying, "You can't really say or do much. You do the scene, you say hello, you walk out. There's no time to let me go sit on your lap or make you feel uncomfortable. Like, what the F are you talking about, man?" While Bella described how the encounter had stayed with her, making her doubt her own behavior, the whole podcast would go on to highlight how the industry still is with young women, and it's truly disturbing. Number 9, Nicole Kidman. Nicole Kidman and Jimmy Fallon's streak of awkward interviews always seems to entertain us. Back in 2015, a video would start to go viral after Nicole revealed to Jimmy that she had a crush on him. The realization that they almost could have dated would come after they sat down to recall the first time they met. Jimmy would say, "I don't know if you remember this, but we've met before," to which the actress teased, "Oh, I remember." While the two claimed to have very different versions of the story, the father of two would find his own actually quite embarrassing. Jimmy would recall that he was walking around New York City when a friend called him up to tell him Nicole was with him and was hoping to meet him. As Jimmy would continue to ramble on, Nicole would stop him in his tracks and say, "I just remember I liked you." Jimmy would look visibly shocked and flustered over her admission, and she would then joke, "Not now, I'm married now." However, Nicole would go on to blow Jimmy's mind when she would reveal that when she went over to his house, she thought it was a date, and Jimmy had no clue. Years later, fans still like to rave about this hilarious on-air revelation, and they have taken it to social media to write whenever they feel bad about their past choices. They turn on this clip and laugh at Jimmy because no matter how many times you watch the clip, it still manages to make us all laugh. Hey, my little peaches, are you liking this video so far? If so, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Coming in number 8, we have Justin Bieber. So back in 2015, Jennifer Lawrence would turn down a proposition from Justin Bieber after the singer said she was so sexy. Appearing on Watch What Happens Live, Jennifer would answer a question from a caller who mentioned that while Justin was playing a game called To Bae or Not Bae with capital FM, Jennifer's name would be brought up, and Justin would enthusiastically say that he would bae Jennifer, and he would even go on to mention that the Hunger Games actress was sexy and so cute. The caller would then notch things up a bit with just a little bit of spice when they asked Jennifer when she was going to tap that. Not long after, Jennifer would respond by saying, "I'm going to have to say a hard no, but thanks." While Jennifer definitely took it as a compliment, she probably could have let him down a little easier. However, we all had a good laugh watching her shut down the Canadian pop star as fast as she could. Number 7, Drake. It could have been one of the most romantic publicity stunts of the year back in 2016, but it pretty much backfired. When Drake showed up to give Rihanna her award at the VMAs, he would deliver it with a deeply romantic speech that professed his love. They kissed on stage, officially confirmed their relationship, and became the next music power couple. It could have been wonderful, but that's not how it really happened. During the VMAs, Drake would present Rihanna with her Michael Jackson video Vanguard Award, and he would make a pretty romantic speech as he professed his love for the star by describing Rihanna as someone he has been in love with since he was 22 years old. However, as he went in for a romantic kiss, Rihanna would brutally reject him as she would reach out and push his head towards her neck and turned his grand gesture into a casual hug. Was it a little disappointing? Sure. Did it hurt a tiny part of us that loves romance and happy endings? Definitely. But Rihanna made a brave move rejecting Drake on stage, and she made the right move too. Drake shouldn't have professed his love in a speech about Rihanna's brilliance, and he shouldn't have tried to kiss her either. It was very clear that the moment hadn't been planned, and while Drake may have considered the move romantic, it wasn't fair to put so much pressure on Rihanna to respond the way he wanted her to. Coming in number 6, we have James McVay. James McVay and Sophie Turner had something going on between them for a hot second before things simmered out in 2014, as things would take a sour turn when the two would break up after a nasty Twitter spat, where James would call Sophie uninteresting. Sophie would clap back by saying, "I apologize for how uninteresting I am on Twitter, but please enjoy these emojis from yours truly." James would then respond to her tweet by saying, "You gonna apologize for how uninteresting you are in real life too?" Sophie would then respond to James by saying, "Wow, harsh words. Please stop texting me. It's getting creepy. I'm sorry, I'm not interested." However, later James would come out to say that the pair actually went their separate ways 6 weeks later after an online poke by saying, "I've been meaning to put this right for years, and for some reason, I haven't. So Sophie and I actually parted ways, and the stuff that was on Twitter was all a joke between me and her, and we were actually still together when we did it all." While everything between the two just seemed to fizzle out, it's clear that James has no bad blood over the incident, as he's actually really happy to see Sophie with Joe Jonas. Number 5, Lindsay Lohan. James Franco once passed on his chance to get with Lindsay Lohan. James will reveal the truth about the incident on Howard Stern's radio show back in 2013, that he rejected getting romantically involved with the troubled starlet a few years back. Stern would say, "You turned down Lindsay Lohan? Back then, she was a lot hotter." James would say, "Oh gosh, poor Lindsay, I haven't talked to her in a while. We were friends." James would then reveal that he had met the star through friends when he was staying at the Chateau Marmont Hotel in West Hollywood, when he said, "My house in LA was being redone, so I did this thing where I was staying at a hotel and she had been living there for a couple of years." While James would go on to say he didn't like to brag about the incident, he would say that even back then Lindsay was having issues and he didn't want to feel weird. He would also state that she was a friend and it was just something he didn't want to do. Number 4, Taylor Swift. So back in 2013, Taylor Swift was on the prowl for Bradley Cooper, and she even asked mutual friend, who ended up being Jennifer Lawrence, to make an introduction. However, the Oscar-nominated actor is said to have politely declined. The reports came on the heels of Cooper's response when he was asked about the rumors that he was dating 22-year-old Silver Lining Playbook star, and Cooper ended up telling Entertainment Tonight that he was old enough to be her dad. While Taylor was hoping to have a better luck with Bradley, who is 15 years older than her, sources would say that he had no intentions of dating the singer ever. Sources would say he thinks she's far too young for him and he wants to date someone his own age. They would then also add that the actor is looking for something serious. And we all know Taylor likes to play the field, and there's nothing wrong with that. However, considering it said that Bradley just parted way with his girlfriend Zoe earlier that month, he could have also rejected Taylor because he was just working out his life. Also, while Taylor has also been pretty open about her failed relationships as subjects on her tracks, he probably chose to opt out so he didn't have to become the next title of her failed love story. At number 3, we have Aziz Ansari. Texting with someone new is almost always awkward and one-sided, whether you're in high school or Hollywood. Back in April of 2011, Aziz Ansari would exchange phone numbers with Blake Lively. The star would then reveal on Howard Stern's radio show that the Gossip Girl star wasn't really interested in too much textual contact. While he was at an event, he would hear that Blake Lively was a fan, so he went up to her and said hi, and they talked for a while. Aziz would also acknowledge that the actor was also really into food. Later, the two would exchange phone numbers, and after their friendly meet, he decided to fire off a text that said, "Hey, it's Aziz. The animal dinners are now over, unfortunately, but I will show you photos from when I met. It was very tasty. Are you going to the Met Gala?" After receiving no response a couple days later at the Met Gala, he would see her and he was like, "Hey, it's me." And he recalled her bopping around to all these parties with Karl Lagerfeld. So later he was texting her to see where she was at and said, "Hey, it's Aziz. Please tell Karl he needs to call me. It's been a long time since we broed out." Well, he didn't receive another message. He then said he sent her another message late that night that said, "I'm going to the Boom Boom room for the after party. Hopefully this is your number. Either way, good seeing you. He would then finally receive a message from Blake that said, maybe I'll see you. So weird. Carl was just saying how bummed he was to miss you. He would then send her a message on Christmas to wish her happy holidays before he finally decided that she wasn't going to bite back, so he gave up. Poor guy. Number 2, Leonardo DiCaprio. Why it seems like everyone just wants to swoon over Leonardo DiCaprio when it comes to Cara Delevingne. He couldn't charm her. Back in 2013, The Sun reported that Cara snubbed the actor at the Great Gatsby's premiere in Cannes after the actor spent the whole evening chasing her. Now, normally, all Leo has to do is look at a girl and they fall at his feet, though Cara was not having none of it. An inside source would say that Leo actually spent the whole night chasing after her, but at the end of the night, she would essentially just blow him off. While the two are said to have spoken, Leo would end up being pretty forward and he even invited her to a party back at his suite. They both then swapped numbers, but that would end up being it. While Leo tried every trick in the book and apparently kept lunging for her, she kept dodging him. With everyone laughing at the fact that she actually knocked back the biggest actor in the world, an insider would later reveal that Cara actually found him too forward and too old. However, with a joke circulating the internet that claims that Leo doesn't date anyone over 25. And would you really want to find out if this rumor is true? Because personally, I would be heartbroken. Number 1, John Mayer. Somehow John Mayer found a way to proposition Sandra Bullock through a mutual friend or something like that. While the story could be fabricated, it definitely made us all laugh. However, we all know John would be completely down for Sandra. Well, if she would actually have him. John was reportedly trying so hard to fix up his image with Sandra that a mutual friend would say it's just a typical John fashion, because once he's motivated, he just doesn't give up easily. Following a string of high-profile romances that all ended up badly, the singer was so eager to repair his reputation that he thinks that dating America's sweetheart would improve his love them and leave them image. John just likes dating famous women, and who's more famous than Sandra Bullock? Well, John definitely knows that Sandra is probably never going to date him. He did offer her to enter into a friends with benefits situation with him. For Sandra's part, she is definitely amused by the attention and she was flattered and had quite a good laugh when she heard about it. However, she decided to turn John down because she's looking for a long-term relationship, not a booty call. Sandra just wants someone to grow old with, and it's clear that John is not the type of guy who will ever settle down. Well, that's it for this video, my little peaches. Until the next one, remember to stay juicy.